Sorry, forgot to close the door. Hello, and welcome back to the second part of today's streams. Because I'm doing a double stream today. Um, so I forgot to mention earlier, character 71 is what we did. And the color palette was East Coast. This is my character Alamir Saltgrass, my D&D Monster Hunter. So now for part two, I'm going to be working on this little. Let me see. Let me pull him up here. This little fella here. I could not think of anything to do with these colors. So we have a dragon. It's actually been a very long time since I've drawn a dragon, so I've already got the sketch, so I can just worry about focusing on the line art and the colors. And did I already say what the color palette is? This is character number 72. The color palette is Medusa. Hi, I'm totally here. I've got it all figured out. Speaking of figuring things out, I didn't realize that when I zoom back out into studio mode, you guys can't see the comments that I'm seeing. So you'll be able to see. I'll keep the comments in from the earlier stream in the playback, but yeah, this right here is all you're seeing, and I didn't realize that. So I will leave chat up in case anyone wants to pop in and say hey, and make fun of my color choices. But yeah, that's that. Let me go ahead and get started. And what brush do I want to use? I don't want the Sino pen. I'll go back to the scribble brush. And I haven't quite decided whether or not. Hold on a second. I gotta fix that. Okay, we fixed it. There was an extra bar on my computer. I want to just do lines and colors, or if I want to do a little bit of rendering. Let me just get started, and then I'll figure it out from there. I'm not going to put the timer on because the sketch is already done. I'm just going to draw and see how long it takes me to get this finished. So let's get into it. Oh, music. You know what? I don't know. Do we need the music? It's kind of... it doesn't sound good coming through the speaker. But if you guys can hear it, look, you can just have it on so it's just in my head. All right. Music is on. Yeah, this is a good brush for this. I'm not necessarily going for storybook look, but I'm not trying to be precious with the line art in this one. I want it to be clean, but I'm not going to be like so particular about it. Should probably zoom in a little bit and bump this down just a little bit more. The great thing about dragons is they don't exist, so there's no like wrong way to draw them. Although they are, of course, very reptilian. So if you're going for one that's based a little bit more in reality, that's of course going to dictate what details you do or don't add. But this was just a little guy. A little comfort creature. Oh, no wonder. Wow. My brush was getting super chunky. Yeah, it's up to 17. Let's just do a little bit of hatching here. A little bit of this. So you can sort of see it, but it's not super prominent. The main reason why I ended up drawing the sketch off stream was really just to give myself time to figure out what I was going to be drawing. Um, because I spent pretty much my entire lunch break, the entire hour, figuring out what I wanted to do and then sketching it out. So that would have been half of stream, would have just been the sketch. That wouldn't have been very entertaining. So we have this. Mm-mm-mm. Unfortunately, this is the stage where I'm also like the most concentrated. I don't know what to talk about. I know the horns are a little crooked, but that's okay. He's got wabi sabi. His imperfections give him character. This little diadem. Oh, I guess the diadem goes on the head. What would you call? It's a collar of sorts. It's also a little disorienting to talk right now because my ear is like it's just a aftermath of the cold. Like I can only hear about like 50-60% out of this ear, and so it's like it's really it's weird. I'm hoping it'll just kind of pop itself at some point. I've been like doing the jaw thing, trying to pop it, and nothing's helping. I'm just gonna have to do like a really big yawn to clear it, I'm sure. But I'm not feeling super inspired to talk for the second part of the stream for several reasons, that being one of them. Let's get the big shapes done first. And then I can kind of go back in and worry about the details a little bit more. So that's going to be this thigh here. Let's get the swoop of the tail. Hey, hello. Yes, a little scaly friend. I was explaining how at the beginning of stream it's been a minute since I've drawn a dragon, so I felt it's about time I dust off the old cookbook up here and make a little scaly friend, as you say. Just get a little shading in. Got the shoulder blade, and this is going to be in shadow. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, I'll see how much time it takes me to do the line art. But I'm thinking I might do the lines as overlay and then just do some soft textured shading. Not too unlike what I did for Alamir. What's the dragon's story? Well, this little guy, who doesn't have wings because I tried to draw the wings in and it was taking up too much space, is just a little trinket collector. I figured these colors here were like some really nice jewel tones to work with. Of course, you've got the gold coins, so I just wanted to do a little traditional dragon that has a nice little bed of coins that he snuggles up with. Honestly, this guy is probably no bigger than like a large cat in my headcanon. And so he just kind of sneaks into people's jewelry boxes and takes whatever he finds to be interesting. Kind of like a little magpie. Let's see, I will leave that for the coloring. Yeah, so this is all, it's all plated, so that's gonna overlap there. Let's get this claw. Mini dragon. Yeah. What's funny is that I actually kind of thought about, not to get back into D&D because I talked about D&D in the first part of the stream, but we have a kobold character in our party named Ingot, and kind of thought about him and his he has a collection of beetles, some of which, so he has a complicated relationship with beetles, because he collects them but he also eats them. He only collects the like really shiny ones, but you can easily bribe him with insect treats. Yeah. Yeah, the party has adopted him as he is currently the paladin's squire, and the party owns a bookstore that has expanded to include a cafe, a menagerie, and a gym. And so the paladin and Ingot own the gym, and Ingot is like a strong proponent of leg day, as it were, because he's so proud of his progress. When they found him, he was being transported as a prisoner of a centaur pack on the way to one of their missions, and they rescued him. And since then, he's just like basically become like the party's mascot in a way. And he's gotten to go on all these adventures, and he actually got to go back home recently and got to say hi to all of his like cousins and siblings, and they were just like so impressed with like, oh wow, you went out there and became a big adventurer. And so yeah, it's just fun stuff that happens at the table. But that's what happens when you have a good group of people that you play with. You get wholesome moments like that. Alright, all the gold in the back is going to be just a solid silhouette. Let's see. This, however, is going to be drawn out. Yeah, he's a good little guy. Supposed to be the day our team was taking a break. It's just a blissful short mage. Yeah, like characters don't always have to have like that dark backstory. Like, I've been playing D&D for about 10 years. And my characters have run the gambit of having that like sad, serious backstory to like swinging in the opposite direction of, no, I want to be like totally silly and nonsensical, to like they finally kind of hit a middle ground of like, you know what? This is the character. This is their story. Whatever happens, happens. It doesn't have to be, because it's at the end of the day, you're just hanging out with your friends, telling a story. So it doesn't have to be that deep. But we love a blissful mage. My last character was she was a wizard. She was a Kenku wizard who wanted to learn magic so that she could learn how to fly, because in D&D lore, there we go, Kenku can't fly. So that was her main motivation, but everything else was just kind of like, whatever happens, happens. She ended up starting a beekeeping and mead business with her adventuring party. So, let's see. I don't like the way this is looking. Because after she had reached, I'm pretty sure it was either level 3 or 5. Hello again. She had gotten the spell that she wanted, so the pressure was off for her to kind of reach that goal that she had been looking for. Let's see, I played for 4 years and 2 years in the same one game. No, so not 10 years consistently, just like multiple campaigns over 10 years. The one I'm running now is the longest one I've been a part of, and I am the GM of it, and we started it in 2021. But yeah, I've been playing on and off for about 10 years, either with parties of friends or my husband and I did a Pathfinder campaign, and just we've played through 3.5. Pathfinder. We did Pathfinder 2.0. We're playing 5th edition right now. So we're intrigued by what 6th edition is planning on bringing to the table. I don't know if we'll play through it. As someone who started out with 3.5, feel like 5th edition is great onboarding for someone who has not played any sort of D&D or tabletop before, but because I'm used to the more complicated systems. I miss it. I miss the called shots. I miss the like. I like that aspect, that challenge of it. It just feels like it tells a better story. Let's see. Let me get rid of this sketch. Well, not get rid of it. I'm just gonna turn it off. I'm gonna set this to reference. Let's see. Need to try Pathfinder. Yeah, Pathfinder is. I like to think of Pathfinder as like D&D's unserious cousin. Like a lot of the mechanics are the same. Behind on D&D. Yeah, it's what is it like? D&D 1 or something. Yeah, they've been coming. The news has been trickling. 6th edition is like kind of still in the works to some degree. Oop. Hello, what's going on here? Where's the gap? Where's the gap? Ah, I see you. All right, that's better. But yeah, it's so a lot of the news about like D&D changing like the racial features and things like that has been coming from the whole 6th edition thing, because the first thing they did away with was the alignment chart of like the chaotic good and like all that. They got rid of that. Mainly in 5th edition. I know a lot of people still use it though. And it's I think the only class that it really impacts is warlocks. Well, I guess it would be warlocks and witches. Because usually their patron deity aligns with like what they align with, and they get certain boons based on like their alignment. But I don't know. I'll be curious to see what 6th edition cooks up when it's finished. But I will most likely be sticking with older editions for now, unless they really bring like something significant to the table. Like even the campaign I'm running now, it's so they're changing. Are they changing warlocks? So I guess it works out. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Because I've only heard like a little bit. My husband's been keeping up more with that than I am, because I'm too busy drawing maps and keeping backstory straight at the moment. So, yeah, our campaign is 5th edition at heart, but I run it with a little bit of 3.5 mechanic flavor. Is this the color I want to make him? Yes, because I wanted to make this yellow, and then I wanted these gems to be blue. Let me see, the rough life of a Tito. Yeah, no, I do enjoy it though. I make the maps. I build sets. Not so much lately, but early on I was building sets, but I came to the realization that, oh, we're only going to be using these like once or twice. I don't need to spend my weekend building a set that we're only going to use once. And I come up with, so I don't use a module. The entire story has just come out of my noodle, and it's the best way to, because the characters in the party are so, like, their backstories are so helter-skelter. There was no way that was going to fit into a module, so we just had to start from scratch, and been kind of writing it as I go, because we've had party additions and party changes, and so I think we've finally gotten to a good place where we have everybody that we're going to have. And so the last session was like the big reveal of like the end of what I call part one of the story. So now they had that big reveal to propel them into part two of the story, which is going to be level 11 to 20. So level 1 to 10 was, the setup. You're building up your party, you're getting your magic weapons, you're getting a feel for the world and like what's happening in the world. And then you have the big change. So they've gone through the stages of saving a village, saving a city, and now they're moving on to saving the world, which is stage 3. And currently, they are trying to collect relics to resurrect an ancient wizard to stop the catastrophe that's supposed to be coming, because they are not strong enough to stop it. Their job is to resurrect the guy who can stop it. And so now they have to travel all across Faerun collecting the relics to resurrect him. So, yeah. Fun times. But again, this has been like 2 years running, and I'm excited for what's next. I've got some good stuff cooking on the laptop. I'm also trying not to give away too much because my husband does watch the streams and he's a player at the table, so I can't give away any like really behind the scenes secrets of anything that hasn't been revealed yet. Because while I do trust him to like mute the stream at that point, I don't want to take that chance. I want the surprise to be genuine. Let's see, I'll make his horns gold. That'll be fun. The bases are almost done. I gotta figure out what I want to do for. Is this? Yeah, this is gonna be this color. I need somewhere else to put this color because it's pretty. Maybe I'll do. Yeah, I'll do that. What brush do I need? Let's try this. Yeah, that's a good little sort of gradient treatment. And then I can do a bit of transition between these two colors. But I like the way that looks. Because, yeah, he needs... The green is pretty, but he needs something to break it up a little bit. And then I can just use a dry gouache to go back in, make it sort of opaline. Oh, that would actually, yeah. I'll see if I can do that. The last time I did opals, I had a bunch of references on hand, and it took me, I don't remember how long it took me, because it was for one of the Zodiac videos I did. So, at least 45 minutes per like section, because it was opaline armor. So it had the chest plate and the shield and the helmet and the boots and the sword were all made out of like opal, like the rainbow opal crackle texture. But yeah, that would be a fun way to go about it for sure. I could a little bit of this going. because it looks gray kind of on its own, but it's like, you can see here, it's like in the bluish purples. So it's like a smoky lavender. Yeah, this is good. It's a good starting point. And like I said, I can work out um, more of the texture because I'm only 30 minutes in. So I have an hour and a half to just play with the coloring of this. Very cool, very cool. Okay. This is pretty cool. These plates down here. I think I can use the regular brush for that. Nope, it's blending too much. Let's try again. Just clean that up. I do have this set to reference. So I can just erase outside where that is sort of crumbling away. And then I'll just do this. It's going to be messy, but this is the fastest way to fill this in. Get a dark gold. And then I'll use this same color for the background, but a little more gray so that it's like kind of receding into the back a little bit more. Not something that has a little bit of tooth to it. Let me just do this again and see what that... I think that's gonna work. And then I can use a slightly like lighter grayish yellow to kind of isolate some coins. And just something to give the idea of a background. Most of the characters I do for the color palette challenge don't have a background, but I just wanted to have a little something extra on this one. I don't know. Do I like this? I mean, I probably like it more if I wasn't being super sloppy with it. But again, it's just to kind of give the idea that there's giant piles of money behind him. So I'll turn that off while I'm working on the scales. And let's zoom in. I'll set this to overlay. Yep. Now I'll turn my sketch back off. Ooh. Crunchy colors here. Get a little bit of shading going around the eye. And no, I'm not going to draw every single scale. I'm just doing enough to kind of give that implication of texture. Because that would be, I mean, I could if I wanted to be here for like another 6 hours, but I don't. I mean, maybe if I didn't have anything else to do today, but I do. So I can't just stay here all day with you guys. Oh, that's another. Sorry, I was thinking of where else I could use this. Because on here it reads as purple, of course. Elsewhere, for example, the necklace, if I add the right highlights to it, will read as a silver. And then, let's see, just kind of moving along. Getting some more of these details in. These gems, ooh, these were not colored in well. But I need to add shading and whatnot to them anyway. Let me finish the face. Focus. And then I can move on further down. Let's get this green. And I'm going to take it here under the neck. And this is going to be this color. And then that can sort of like gradient down along here. I get my watercolor brush. Not that size. A little bit smaller. Smaller than that. And then these can also blend out here. So you get a little bit of that scale overlap. It's not going to be a hard line between this color and this color. And even this, I think I want to do, let me isolate this. A little bit of a gold overlay. No, not glow. I'm going to set this back to normal. I will use the glow later on the coins, but for now, I just need it to be normal. Do I like this though? I mean, it's not bad, but it almost feels, well, let me see. I'll leave it. I'll leave it for now. If I decide I don't like it, I can always go back over it later. I was gonna say, that's the great thing about digital art, but honestly, there's ways to do that in traditional art too. A lot of them involve either having a really good eraser or some type of masking fluid, but there's ways to do it. Let's see, what is my light source? He's in a cave, so he wouldn't really have much of a light source, but I guess I'll do it from the top down. So this is actually going to be, let me switch my brush, this color. I have a little bit here and here and here. And then I can use my add glow to really pump that up. Because right now, while it is different and shiny, it's not, like pow. I don't want it to have too much gray. I want to try to keep these a little more saturated. Although, well, no, they wouldn't be this color. I was thinking if his horns are actually made out of gold, they wouldn't be this corn yellow color. They would be more of like a greenish. And I've talked about this before, how like actual gold is more green than it is yellow, like when you really look at it. And like if you color pick it, like if you take a reference off of Google Images and color pick the different like highs and lows, they're more like grungy than you might think gold would actually be. Let's see. So all of this is underneath of where the light is. So that's going to be high contrast there and there. And we're going to have high contrast here. And then this is actually going to have a little bit of light because it's a high point. And also help emphasize the shape. Get just a little more shading down here. Cool. All right, let's work on the eyes next. A little bit of dark purple here. A soft brush. And then go into the details with the hard brush. Just really get these sharp corners. A little bit of light. And then we're going to darken this just a little bit more with a hard brush. I'm going to use a soft brush to outline. There. Kind of cute. I mean, he's small, so he's going to be cute anyway. Use a sharp brush. I'm going to clean that up a little bit with this brush as well. And we'll get a little bit of juicy shine. Okay. What am I sitting at? 45 minutes. See, it's so easy to just get lost in the process and forget that my goal is to finish this within 2 hours. So I gotta pick up the pace a little bit. Get a few more of these scaly spots established. I think I'm actually going to use, let me see, where's a spot where it's, let me just pull it from here. Pull this up this way. So this is going to be a little difficult to see from a distance, but the way it blends in, it's going to look nice. So these are almost, it's kind of like the relationship between red and green, how they are complementary, and this being more like a teal, i.e. green, and this purple, well, it's a little closer to blue than purple. So there's enough contrast where it's like, okay, there's something happening here, but they're like kind of close enough that they also like blend in a little bit and kind of give this like jewelly shifty effect, which is really nice. Which is my plan for the back scales, is to make it again attempt to make it look opaline, and that's going to require high contrast. And careful placement of these colors. And I'm going to need a third color. It's probably going to be this here. Let me see what that looks like. Let's use wash brush. It's a little strong. I don't want to use the watercolor brush because the watercolor brush is just going to make everything bleed together. I think of how, like where the light is hitting. How would this effect look? And I don't have a reference because opals, like there's white, black, and smoky opal. So the colors that I'm working with are closer to a smoky opal, but I don't have the full range that's still present there. Because even though it's a more pastel opal, you still have like orange and yellow and like pink to work with. And so I think trying to recreate this with just purple, blue, and green, I can take a little creative liberty, considering that I don't have the full like gambit of colors to work with. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fuss with that a little bit more. I think it's going in a good direction, but I also want to move on to the rest of this little fella. So let's see. The claws. I haven't done the claws. Those are also going to be this corn yellow color. Oh my goodness, what? I had it set to the wrong thing. The equivalent to that happening in traditional art would be spilling the bucket of paint on your piece. At that point, I think you would just have to start over or call it a happy accident and incorporate it some way. There is, yeah, no coming back from that. Unless you can just roll with the punches. Let's see, let's do a little lighter than this, but darker than this to really make these look metallic. I'm gonna cut back in just a little bit. And then do a little bit of shine here. Every day is a happy accident. I mean, it's what you make it. I've definitely felt like some days were just cosmically unaligned for sure. But it's just one day, and the next day is something different, hopefully. Okay. Shading. Let's go back to doing big areas first and then working into small areas. I need to remember what I was taught in painting 201 is to work big and go in small. But I get so caught up in like wanting to work something before moving on to the next thing, just so that I have at least something finished. But if I work on it all at the same time, then it'll all be finished at the same time. The next thing I want to work on, though, is the gemstones, because they are messy. I cannot look at them. It's killing me. But this is still so flat that it needs help. Let's see. Just the back of the leg. Let me see. I can. Oh, that's a good texture. And I don't have to press down super hard to get that to. Alright, you know what? I'm going to use this instead of the watercolor brush. It doesn't blend as much as the watercolor brush does, but it's giving me more to work with. And faster, because I'm at 53. See, I'd like to think I'm making good time, but I also like I mean it's coming along. I guess I need some highlights up here. Maybe that's what's bothering me, is that there's no variation up here aside from this, but this is not part of this, like visually. So it needs. How close is that to this color? Oh, nope, it's off. It's off. Okay. Reel it back. Reel it back. And then I'll blend back into this with this green. But I want it to have, something to break this up. I'm gonna head out, have a lovely stream, pet the gremlin. I'm petting the gremlin. have a good rest of your day. Thanks for joining. Okay. Let's get a little bit of shine up on the shoulder and bring that down. Blend this in here just a little bit. Blend in, because this is all going to be that opaline attempt. So this is going to have some green to break that up anyway. Let me go ahead and take care of that while I'm over here. This still feels too solid. Let me see what happens when I just do a little... I don't want it to look like a cloud, but I don't need to draw every single scale. I think it looks better on the screen that I'm looking at than what it looks like up here, because up here it's like crunching it down a little bit quality wise, and so there's less subtlety in what I'm doing versus like what the screen is presenting. It's interesting to say the least, what gets lost in translation between what I'm looking at and what at least what I think you guys are able to see. Maybe my resolution is just not up to par. But yeah, this is nice. And then I'll do the blue highlights. That's what? What? Blue? How did that end up being yellow? What does it look like with the gouache brush? Is it too... Yeah, it's too soft. I gotta stick with the watercolor. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So I'll make this shinier. I'm gonna make it a little sharper. Let's do this and a little bit of this, because there's light up here, so it would kind of like obscure the top part. I might go back in and add like highlights over that to further push it. So do a little bit here on the shoulder, like so. Yeah, I think this is... Whoops. How did that pick the wrong color? What is happening with my pen? I think I need to charge it. It's been a couple days since I've charged it, and my pen is old, and so it can only go a few days without being charged, and I think it's starting to act out as a sign. Like, hey, it's time for you to juice me up again. But I'm in the middle of stream, so that's not going to happen. You can wait. You can wait another hour. It's fine. You'll be okay. I'm believing you. Some just look more like quartz than like opals, but he's a gem dragon, so it's okay. I just want to sharpen that up a little bit. Get the main idea, although that is about 30% of his design, so I've got to figure out how to do that so I can recreate it consistently. And you know what, let me try this instead. Like, if I do this, So blue is mainly going to show up on the highest points. And then I can just use the watercolor brush underneath to soften it a little bit. Yeah, because the purple is the mid-tone. The green is effectively the shadow underneath of this. So the blue is the highlight. And this is going to be a soft area here and here. I'm just going to go in with a small brush and just lighten up the back end. You got to keep the front end sharp, since that's where the light is the hardest. And I can just go back in and add a little bit more green to it. I would like this purple to be a little more concentrated. Yeah, like here, right like underneath of where the shine is. Because the way the facet works, so when light hits a gem, you've got white on like the highest point, but then you still have the light shining through, so you'll have shadow in the middle, and then the other side will be like a luminescent version of whatever color you're making that gem. So if this is purple, my light is blue, this side is still going to be like this color purple with a little bit of green underneath. I don't know why I thought I could do this in 2 hours. Foolish girl. It's probably going to take me 4. So I will end up having to finish this off stream most likely. So let me move on to the next big part, which is the gems, because I think I have an idea of what to do with this. So I will do this until the end of stream. I'm at an hour 3. So I still have an hour left. Okay, so we're gonna go here. And that's gonna be the middle. Maybe just a little smaller. This is going to be mostly heavy. And then I'll have my reflection here. I'll have to isolate that gold to treat it the way I need it to. Okay, this is mostly going to be in shadow. Have a little bit of light because it's like transparent, well, it's translucent. So it's not all going to be, let me get that highlight back in there. And then this is going to have the shadow right in here. I'm going to have a little bit on the edge where it's socketed in. I don't think it needs to be this dark. Let me just lighten it up a little bit. Yeah, not quite as dark as this, but it still needs to have a little bit of depth because the light isn't truly like reaching all the way into that spot. You still look messy. Gotta add my highlights in. Also partially because the line art was done with a crunchier pen, so filling it in with the bucket tool, it's gonna fill it up to where the line is, and if the line is crunchy, then the colors are gonna be crunchy. So just gotta take a little time to clean things up as we go. Not a big deal. I still haven't decided if I like this situation here. Okay. So anywhere I want to put highlights, I'm actually going to put shadow around it and then highlight that in the middle. And we'll do a little bit of softening out this way. See, now they look more like capuchons. That's what we're going for. And then I'll just make this white. And I'll put a little bit of blue back in the middle. Almost looks like an eyeball. It's kind of freaky. Take a little bit of this blue. Let me make sure that it's actually the blue that I need, because at this point there's been a lot of blues blended in. All right, that's the collar. Let's do the necklace. Let's see, I've got my low points. I need my mid points, which are going to be here. Actually, this is going to be white because of where the light's coming from. I don't know that I can help them looking like eyeballs just because they are round and eye colored. Maybe they are. Maybe someone's crystallized some lich eyes and turned them into jewelry. Who's to say? Alright, now to make those look less copy pasted on, gotta get some shadows going underneath of here. Oh, let's do a multiply layer. And let's see. Now, here. And then I'll soften that out a little bit. Hit the watercolor brush. Yeah, 15's fine. Oh, I didn't do the connector for this one. It's gonna be just a little blurry on the edge here. Sharpest where it's closest. And then gonna do a little bit of this. Still looks kind of messy, but the idea is there. Trying to move it along and get the details done. And then what I need after that actually is there anything on this? There's nothing on that layer. So I can do this effect on this layer. Maybe a little bit of blue shine in here. Like a little dewdrop. All right, I'm at an hour 12. Just to help that read more as silver and less as the purple that it is. I didn't finish the face, did I? I'll get a little bit more shading in there, namely between the lips here. Now that makes him look gaunt. Like he got the buccal fat surgery. I don't want that. I want cute little dragon. I just need some shading, some highlight up here. And then I said I was going to use this brush instead, so I get the same effect with less pressure, so that my pen nib will last a little bit longer. Maybe just a little bit on the eyebrows, because that's going to be a high point on the face, or the brow ridge. It doesn't have hair. Oof. Just thinking about how much detail I'll have to put in the rest of the body now. Alright. The last big thing that I have to work out is the scale plating along his back. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tackle that, and then I'll probably end stream after that because I my back is starting to hurt again. So I need to get up and stretch. I need some water. I didn't bring any water with me this time. Foolish. But yeah, I'll go ahead and work out the opaline bits. I guess he needs a little more. Yeah, I'm at the point where I'm working in the round, truly. Just trying to get big bits of detail. I need my watercolor brush back. What do you look like? Okay, that's helpful. Moving on. I can clean that up later. This is very much a trust the process piece. It's been a process. Stretch. Oh, stretch. Hmm. That's his foot. Duh. Right? I didn't draw it. Is it in the sketch? It's not in the sketch. Interesting. Let me just slap one in. And get a little scale action going on. Just a little variation. Alright, and then there'll be some here under the tail. These are all going to be solid purple because at this point there wouldn't be any like subtle variation. So it's just going to be purple with the blue high point. Let me make sure I'm getting this back in. I don't know if it is a little muddy. Let me see if I can just fix that up real quick. Yeah, that's all it needed, was just a little bit of softening. Just a little bit of help. Better. Yeah, just a little bit of cleaning up. Of course, this section will also need some, but let me go ahead and focus on the crystal backing. That's going to be... I'll use my gouache. Actually, I'm going to use my oil brush so I can blend it a little bit as I go. That's going to be a high point. This is going to be a high point. We'll have a little on the edge there. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Tomorrow's stream is gonna end up being a little later in the day because in the morning I have another appointment. So I will probably be back home closer to noon, maybe 1 o'clock. So I'll probably end up streaming from 1 to 3 again. So we're almost at the end of Color Palette Challenge live streams for the month, anyways. Today's last day of November, but it's technically I'm ending this on December 2nd. So I had 4 consistent weeks, semi-consistent weeks of streaming. So tomorrow and Saturday are the last 2 days, and then I will be moving on to the December iteration of the end of the Color Palette Challenge. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to handle that. Initially, I was going to do daily videos with like groups of like 2 or 3 characters, but your girl just got a job, so that might shift a little bit depending on what my work schedule ends up being. So yeah, we'll have to play it by ear a little bit and see what happens. I don't think it's going to be affected too much from my original vision, but we'll see. Yeah, because that was going to be the 1st through the 20th. If I did the math right on how many color palettes are left, I think there's like 41. And so I was planning on doing 2 a day. Well, I guess, because that would include Sundays. So yeah, three a day until the 20th, so that the week before Christmas, I could just have that time to myself after doing a month of live streams and whatnot. Yeah, so that's kind of the plan going forward. Is December's a little up in the air at the moment. Things shifted last minute. I think in a good way, because I no longer have to worry about monetizing my channel. That's part of the reason why I've been pumping out so much content, is to try to get views and engagement up so I could like potentially get closer to monetizing. But I have a regular day job now, so I don't have to worry about that, and I can just go back to drawing for fun. Which means ultimately the quality of what I'm posting will probably improve too, because there won't be pressure to like do just all this buckets and buckets of stuff. Yeah, so I think this is a good change for the most part, because I've been doing up until this month a video a week, so like either posting on Wednesdays or Saturdays, sometimes both, depending on how the week went. We'll most likely go back to doing 1 video a week for most of the year, unless I'm doing like some sort of event. Spoiler, I do have a plan for doing some sort of event later next year, God willing, but that is way down the pipeline. I'll have more information about that up on my Instagram as well when it comes closer to time for that to happen. If it can still happen the way I would like it to, it's a, I post it, you guys participate type of thing, kind of like this was how I had posted the color chart for every day. If you wanted to draw along, you had access to the colors that I would be working with for that particular day. So this is something similar to that, but I personally, it might, what might end up happening is that I end up just doing like posting a daily drawing on Instagram and then doing something else for my YouTube channel. I think that feels more feasible in the long run. So you'll have that to look forward to later. And then as far as January through May, I think it's most likely going to be just regular once a week videos. Let me take a look at what I have. An hour 30. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I have the makeup work video for the color palette challenge, characters that I need to redraw. And then I have something planned for February, something planned for March, which those will be one video a week. April, May is a daily draw, so I got to figure out what to do with that. And then in between, I have some other video ideas that I'm brewing up to do kind of like as I feel like it, to kind of break up the regular drawing content that I typically do. All right. Well, hey, he's not finished, but he's at a good stopping point, and I'm at a stopping point. Because again, like I said, my back is starting to hurt, and I need to get up and stretch again. Let me shut these down a little bit, and pop this back up, and tell you guys goodbye. So yes, as mentioned, tomorrow's stream will be later in the day, and probably 1 to 3 again, and then Saturday will be the last live stream for a while, and yeah, that's it. So I'll see you guys next time. Have a weird day.